What is going on, everybody? It is Hunter here from the Next Step Podcast. I am here with the one, the only, Dusty. Will not say his real name, Young.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode.
And today we've got a special episode from you, coming to you straight from upstairs at the Hybrid Systems facility. Today,
brought to you by Elevate Energy.
Elevate your day. All right. And, today I think we're going to go more down the fitness route and at least sharing some experiences that we've had in our own fitness goals. And training for a long time. Dusty's trained consistently for many years. I have been the opposite of that. I trained consistently for several years and then stopped for like 5, and now I'm finally back to it. Sharing some of the things that we have found that have allowed us to be consistent. So if consistency is an issue for you right now in your exercise goals, and you find that you start and you stop, you start and you stop, and you continue to repeat that cycle, I think you're going to get value from this video. And if you're someone who has been exercising consistently for a long time, then you'll find value in this as well, because both Dusty and I, but I think this speaks more to Dusty, Dusty has had some amazing breakthroughs in his progress in his fitness goals. And so we'd like to share those with you today. So I guess we could start off maybe by sharing a little bit more context about both your and I's situations.
Okay.
I can just start with mine, and then maybe we'll jump into yours.
Sure.
So here's my situation. I got into working out in high school, and I was very consistent. I was an athlete, and so working out was like the thing that I did. And then I found that I wanted to start a business, and so after graduating high school, I stopped working out consistently. And for the past 5 years, 6 years, it has been start, maybe go for 2 to 3 months, and then stop. And I'd be lucky if I made it 2 to 3 months. So starting and stopping many times for 5 years. And I know it's ironic that, right, I've been a fitness coach throughout that, but that is a reality for many fitness coaches as they kind of take on their passion as their work. And Dusty, why don't you give some context on your workout history briefly and where you have been at?
Sure. First off, just imagine how big your quads would be if you were consistent within the last 5 to 6 years.
You gotta give me a break, Dusty. Come on now. You know what? It's not just that my quads are smaller than you. I was training Matt today, and he looked at my quads, and I was like, all right, I'm waiting for it. He's gonna tell me how big and juicy my quads are. And you know what he said? Hunter, your legs are really pale. I'm like, come on. I'm like, I've been on the doxy. I haven't been able to get in the sun. And then we both looked at each other, and we're like, who are we kidding? I wouldn't be in the sun anyways.
No.
Don't for that. So.
Oh. No.
Anyways.
I'm sorry, dude. I love you. All right. So my journey was was kind of the opposite of Hunter. So I grew up, I was into sports young, like we're talking 3rd, 4th grade. And then somehow I stopped, and I gained a lot of weight. And I continued to gain weight up through high school, and I was pretty big. I was very, very overweight throughout high school. And I did different diets, different fad diets, did Atkins a couple times, lost 40 pounds, gained 45. And I just could not keep it off. And, I really don't know what clicked. But something clicked one day, and I decided it was time, to lose weight and keep it off and just live a healthier life. And so, I started doing, what was it? It was Insanity, one of those beach body exercise programs, right? So I followed their crappy diet recommendations and, did the program. I lost a ton of weight. And that was kind of the beginning for me, because I did gain a little back because I went back to eating like normal. But that was the true introduction to fitness for me. Not necessarily the greatest way to get introduced to it, but, it was my introduction. And, later on down the road, I realized that doing those sort of workouts time and time again, I was doing more damage to my body rather than good. So I found, a couple articles online. Mike Matthews, he's the owner of Legion Athletics, about, lifting and just how good it was, just for overall body composition, health, all that stuff. So I literally, there was no gym around. So I dropped like $1,500 and I bought myself a home gym. I bought myself a squat rack, barbell, dumbbells, all the stuff. And just started lifting weights, and it became an obsession. I was doing it, starting out at it like 3 times a week. I never, ever missed a workout. I would miss a family function before I missed a workout. And then I just gradually it got more intense, 5 days a week. And it got to a point where my workouts were just far too much. They were like an hour and a half at least each day, 3, 5, 6 days a week. And then we kind of changed things up a little bit here. So I have a feeling that might be what we talk about a little. So yeah, but yeah, that's kind of it. I went from one extreme to the next, but it's changed my life completely. And I've been far more consistent, than Hunter's story. Not saying it's the right thing, because I went through some pretty crazy struggles with it. So
yeah, well, the way I look at it is Dusty is extremely consistent, and that's why I wanted him to manage the gym, because although I don't want to talk down to myself, right? Consistency is not necessarily my strength. I'm pretty good at like taking on stress and taking on a million things and juggling them, but when it comes to doing the same thing over and over for years and years, I'm not as good as that. But Dusty crushes that in every part of his life, and so I'm like, this is the guy to manage the gym. And so the same went for your workouts. And here's what I perceived like maybe the previous 6 months up until, as we'll share some of the changes you've made. But it seemed like you were still lifting, going hard, consistent, but you just were at a standstill. Like you weren't necessarily getting way stronger. Like you were making small gains, but for the amount of work and time that you were putting in, to me at least, it didn't seem like that would be worth it. And we're just talking about the weight room here. Dusty, when you lived with me, when we lived together, very, very consistent on his nutrition as well. watching so much of it, very rarely ever breaking, his structure. And so to see the amount of results that he was getting for the amount of work that he was putting in, for me, I'm like, man, that wouldn't be worth it. And so what changed for you? What changed for you? How about this? What was keeping you from getting to the next level and breaking through that, like, just slow grind and kind of seeing things explode? Because I think one of them, which if we're on the same page here, was mental with your eating, and then the other will go on.
So first off, I lost my train of thought. Let me get it back here. So, you totally hit the nail on the head there, with, just putting so much work in and getting so little results. And it wasn't that I was still gaining very, very, very little, but I was actually regressing more than I was progressing. And although I knew exactly why, it was a mental roadblock that I had to get over. And that roadblock was, and it stemmed from, being overweight my entire life, was, I cut weight, with my diet. I dieted down until, I lost the body fat that I wanted to. But I was at a point where I was now afraid to eat to fuel my body, so I could start gaining and building it, which in turn, you boost your metabolism, let's try that again, so to speak. So you burn more calories at rest. Like that's how it works. I knew that. But to get over the roadblock of eating more than I had been eating before and seeing the scale go up was just, it was a complete, I don't know how to put this in a appropriate way, but it was just it was a mind fuck.
Like, to say it candidly, like, you were afraid of getting fat again.
Yeah,
That's
no,
probably what you said in your mind.
absolutely. And honestly, to this day, I mean, I don't know if you want to go into it. Like, we started training together with Brandon. He's training us, and I decided, I'm going to bump my calories up just to get stronger and see what happens. And, I still weigh myself every day just to make sure I'm not eating too much, but the scale is continuously going up. But so are my lifts, and I'm getting strong as hell. I've hit PRs every week since doing this. We've been doing it 4 or 5 weeks now, and it's just a good feeling. And I have to remind myself, like just think of how good you feel in the gym. Think of how much progress you're making in the gym. It's just incredible. So just try to get out of your head if you're dealing with something like this, and do what you know is right, and just try it. Because, I mean, in my position, I know I'm not going to let myself get big again. Like, I'm just not going to let it happen. So doing this, building the body up, it's hard, but it's been a fun journey. But also, another thing in regards to that is total volume of my training. So like I said, my workouts were really long, but now they're shorter. We're kind of pulling back a little bit from what I'm used to, and I think that has also proven to be very, very beneficial in my gains, so to speak. So
cool. So if you're somebody who, you've been in a spot that you were not happy with and you had to lose a significant amount of weight, it's very common to be afraid to increase your calories. But there is a point where you need to make that switch to increase your calories so that you can feel your workouts harder, you can lift heavier, and at that point, you really start to recomposition your body. But it is, I mean, and I'm only speaking from what I've heard. This is not something I personally experienced, but I've heard it from so many, and it's something that I've worked to coach, our clients through in the past. So know that, it's okay. And you don't have, it's not like you need to increase your calories by 1,000 a day, right? Even just upping it 100 a day and easing your way up to see, well, how does this have an effect on me? And again, you don't need to look at the scale every day. To take a look at the average over time. And even if the scale goes up a little bit, well, take a look. What's happening to your lifts? How much more are you lifting? And you'll see that your body is just changing shape. It's changing form, and for the better. So, yeah, that's good stuff, Dusty.
Yeah, no, it's been fun, and I don't think I would have been able to do it on my own if I had just continued, because I would have gotten in my own head, right? But working out with you guys, like, you guys are super encouraging, like, it's just a whole new dynamic, and I think that's what I needed. I needed to get out of, my typical routine of what I was doing, and that just helped me change, other aspects, like change my workout routine. Well, maybe I'll change my diet a little bit, and it's a little easier when you're not, in the same environment all the time. So, yeah, it's very difficult, but it's doable, and it's something that you really should do if you're really looking to build yourself up. If you enjoy lifting weights, like, cut the weight a little bit, and then start going in the opposite direction. It's you'll see some incredible changes in your body.
That's huge. And so for myself, like I said, I'd been very inconsistent for the past 6 years, and really what happened. So this now is going to apply to people who have been inconsistent and have started and stopped many times. Me. So I hired a personal trainer. Hired Brandon, Coach Brandon at Hybrid Fitness. And even though I am a trainer, I said, Brandon, you call all the shots and I will do whatever you say. And so all I had to do is show up, did what he said. He eased me in easier than I probably would have gone in with myself, which was great. And he's told me how much weight to lift and how many reps to do and how many sets to do and what exercises to do. And I just listened to him. And I don't have to think about anything. I don't have to think about anything. And so it's been 5 months now, the longest I've probably worked out since high school. And that's just amazing. So very easy and practical advice, but find a personal trainer that you can commit to. Now, look, I'm definitely in a beneficial position because, we have the gym here. If it wasn't, for the gym, could I afford a personal trainer, right? They're not necessarily cheap. I don't know. But another solution to this is to find group sessions or group classes, something that will keep you consistent, that will give you accountability, but you still have to show up. And if you show up and you just follow along, you'll see progress in whatever you do. It's just about the consistency. That will be 80% of the results that you'll get. And most of us are going to be okay with getting 80%. If you really want to be the best and the strongest that you can be, you gotta do a little extra. But for most of us, just getting most of the benefits is enough. Now, about 6 weeks ago or so, Dusty joined me. Oh, baby. Has that been fun? So this is now, if you're somebody who's an experienced lifter or has been lifting for a long time, maybe you feel like you're leaving a little bit on the table. Having a workout partner has been very beneficial for me, and I think it can be for you too. But you gotta be smart about it, because we're complete degenerates sometimes, talking about, he's doing split squat, or we're doing split squats, and then I grab the 55s, and then he's apparently, he just looks right at me, and then he goes to the dumbbell and grabs 60s, and then I'm like, what? And then he goes to get a drink, and so while he goes to get the drink, I go and steal his 60s, and I bring him over. So when he walks back, I'm banging him out. I'm banging out the 60s. But then this bastard, he brings over the 65s. Who does this man think he is? Okay, so this pushed me, because I would have never gone to 65s that day, and I could do them. And for whatever reason, I wasn't pushing myself hard enough. But this can also be dangerous AF.
Yeah.
Dangerous AF. So you need to be smart, and that's why I say an experienced lifter, you have to be able to know your limits and say, look, consistency and showing up every day is more important than going all out intensity and then hurting yourself. So if you can draw that fine line, which only you know if you can do, okay? If you can draw that fine line and you have the right workout partner that's also able to draw that line, then I think it's a great way to freaking push yourself, because I know Dusty, and I know that we're doing way more than we would if we weren't there beside each other.
Oh, dude, I've never lifted so much in my life. But the thing is, so again, yes, we are trainers, so we don't compromise form with, we still focus on, the intent and the technique of the exercise. But we have been pushing ourselves to a complete whole other level. And I think maybe that is another reason why I'm seeing, so much, in the sense of gains. But you just got to be smart about it. Know your limitations. If you start to deviate, you got to pull back. And we know, we experienced that too the other day, last week, during squats. We've been hitting PRs left and right. And, we went into squat day we're going to crush it today. We're going to go even heavier. And we each did, the first set with what we ended with last week. And we both said, nah, it doesn't feel right. So we pulled back the intensity a little bit, went lighter, and, that it ended up being the smarter move.
Well, what would you do, Dusty, if somebody said every single day that your quads were small? How would that make you feel?
I mean,
because guys, this is what he does to me. I'm coming in to work. I'm like, we're going to crush some work today. And then he looks me up and down. He looks at my face and looks down, looks up at me. He's like, so you didn't eat enough food or something. Your quads look small today. And then I just look at him. I say, you just wait, Dusty. You wait for the day when my quads are bigger than yours. But that's how it goes down.
Yeah, and it's fun. I mean, let's be honest. You've got the strength on me, though. You can lift more with those little things, but it's It's fun. All in
I
good
smoke
fun.
him on the bench press. He's got these long tree trunk arms.
Yeah.
They're Google Gadget arms, as we call them.
Yep.
But anyways, so look, if you've lost a lot of weight, and you're struggling to see progress, maybe that weight loss has slowed down, maybe your energy is starting to drop, maybe you're just, not seeing the progress that you want, then right now, it may be a good time for you to up your calories a bit and really focus on pushing the weights, right? And and I think that's what really worked well for Dusty. It's a mind, it's definitely a mind battle, and it's hard. And you probably won't get it the first time or the second time. You have to think about it a long time, but you can do it, and it'll make a difference. Second, if you've been inconsistent in your workouts, consider hiring a trainer. Have a set time, a set schedule where it's non-negotiable. That is your time. And, if a personal trainer right now is out of your budget, we'll look to something like a class or some sort of group. There's lots of ways to be held accountable. And I also recommend, don't always rely, yes, we're workout partners, but don't rely on your workout partner as your accountability, because I can't tell you how many times two people who have been historically inconsistent with working out rely on somebody else who's inconsistent. You can't rely on somebody who's been inconsistent, but a personal trainer, it's their job. Or if there's a class, it's the coach's job, right? So even if Dusty can't work out, Brandon's still there, right? But if it was just Dusty and I might not go. But Brandon, he's there, so I'm still going to hit it. So consider that. And then, as you do that, maybe consider adding in or cutting the cost on that personal training session, getting another workout partner, a friend that maybe can challenge you, that you can have some friendly competition with in a safe and responsible way. I think that's very valuable. Now, here's another thing. I'll tell you a reason why I feel like I struggled to be consistent for all those years, and that was simply because of time, and that's what I told myself in my head. And here's what I've experienced. I was just telling Dusty this the other day. So 2021, there's been the most growth in the business in all time, right? We've seen more growth than ever. At the same time, I've been able to take days out for date nights and date days, and I've never done that before. And I've taken times and set them apart, non-negotiable, for my health. So all three of those things have happened, and I'm telling you, it makes you more productive in all of them. You do have time. It seems really freaking hard, but if you just book the appointment like it was any appointment, like a dentist appointment, a doctor's appointment, you're not going to miss it. It will become routine. You become more productive in the times that you aren't at that meeting. You get more done in less time, and your life is more well balanced. You don't have that guilty feeling or that underlying feeling of man, I know I should be doing this. I know I should be working out. I know I should be spending more time with my spouse or my significant other, but I'm not because I'm doing this. That feeling goes away, and it energizes you, and man, it's just something to build on. It's like a foundation that you need to live your happiest life, and I'm discovering that in this moment.
So before we wrap up, other than productivity, what other benefits have you seen from being more consistent through your workouts?
Oh, through my workouts? For me, it's a lot of it's mental. Doing the thing I know I need to do. Knowing that if I don't do it, in 20 years, I'm probably going to be jacked up a little bit, right? For me, in the career, right, that we're in, where we help people in fitness to just be walk the walk, not just talking the talk. I think that's important. My self-esteem, right? Looking at myself in the mirror and seeing a little bit of progress. I think seeing progress is important. Seeing that, hey, I can do this. And then the days where you're having stressful stuff that you either want to talk about or not talk about, right? You can go and get your workout in, and man, I'll crank some angry music some days. Some days I'm jumping around like Peter Pan. And this is true, Dusty. That's the
yeah.
reference that you used.
Yep.
I mean, some days I'll go in there and I'll not talk, and I'll literally say, like, guys, I'm sorry. I'm just, like, pissed off. I don't know why. But if I'm acting a certain way, that's how I feel.
It's kind of cute when he gets mad because he's still so nice about it. He's like, grr, I'm so pissed off. But don't take it personal. It's just me. Like,
it's just me, not you. So it's kind of where it's a drug, it's a help stabilize you. So that's another benefit. But anyways, we're coming to our cards about to cut us off here. So Dusty, do you have any additional things?
I don't. Just don't be afraid to, try new things, in order to improve your life, your health, your fitness. Because doing the same thing over and over again, it's going to fall short eventually, and you're going to stop making progress, and you could possibly even regress. So,
true stuff. This has been a podcast from Hybrid Systems LLC. Stay tuned next time for the next podcast. How was that?
It was all right.